Well, this is your Superintendent, Aaron Johnson. I'm here to deliver a report that I provided the Board of Education at our June 18th meeting. This is a new practice that I'd like to start to make sure that the information that I provide the board at our regular meetings is also available to our community. So please do look for additional videos to be posted sometime after our regular board meetings as a convenience to you and our community to make sure that you're kept in the know. So first, as you can see, there's a number of celebrations across the district. I will not go through all of these, but I do want to note that you can see in the background there, our Director of Public Information, Mr. Jeffrey DiVeronica. And I want to bring Jeff up because he's done an outstanding job this year with his department to make sure that our students are always in the spotlight and at the center of our attention and our work, and that our staff are also appropriately celebrated. So just wanted to say thank you to Jeff and his crew, and also thank you to all the folks that stand behind these different recognitions and celebrations. Certainly it takes a village. We have an outstanding staff in a wonderful community here in Western Irondequoit that I am 100% blessed to serve. Last thing I'll mention on this slide is thank you for the support from the community for the 2021 budget. It was, needless to say, an extremely challenging year to put that together. Thank you to the work that is reflected in that by our Board of Education, our staff, and our Assistant Superintendent for Finance. And I appreciate the confidence and the trust that approval reflects by you in these services and programs that we deliver. Certainly there's a standard for quality and excellence here at Western Irondequoit that we aim to preserve. So thank you. Quick note about the use of facilities. We have been slowly opening that valve, as the governor says, and this week we did extend the use of the turf to include the full day, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. during the weekdays. So that is currently in practice. Community members, residents, and students can use those according to the guidelines of the state, which is for non-contact, non-competitive activities with groups up to 25. The next move, please look for this in the future as we continue to open that valve, is to extend some of that availability of the turf field to the weekends. Any questions, please contact either myself or our Executive Director of Operations, Mr. John Conti. Here you can see we've started an emergency management team in the district. This was an area that certainly we had plans and practices and people in place, but we felt just being reflective that we could use another mechanism to handle large-scale emergencies like the COVID-19 pandemic, as far as steering and providing leadership across the district. So this emergency management team is made up by a large group of stakeholders, people that represent different hats across the district, as well as people in positions where decisions can be made and actions can be taken to keep our students and staff safe and to make sure that we're managing whatever emergency arises appropriately. So in this case, these folks are meeting on a regular basis. What we've chosen to do is to analyze very directly the different forms of guidance that are coming out from the CDC, state, Department of Health, and local governments, governmental organizations, to make sense of that and to make some plans for reopening our schools in the fall. We did choose to break up that group into some work groups, as you can see on the screen, to address certain aspects of reopening in the fall. Certainly there's a plethora of outstanding questions, and we continue to add to that list on a daily basis, trying to consider all angles of safely reopening our schools in a way that best meets the challenges and the obstacles in keeping our students and staff safe while respecting all that our families are juggling at home, and really truly setting our students up for success. So I wanted to acknowledge the fact that that was in existence, that those conversations are happening, that there will be more information to come, and that we are currently planning for 3 different scenarios, which will be determined, and we will make a selection which will be determined by the guidelines that do come out from the state, which are expected sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So the 3 scenarios are: number 1, we could be back status quo with everybody in the buildings, not business as usual, but close to it, with appropriate health and safety measures in place. The second scenario could be strictly learning remotely, similar to what we did to close out the year. And then the third, probably the least attractive option, would be some type of a hybrid model where the students and staff are in session intermittently throughout the week. So again, more information to come. Our next board meeting is July 1st. It's a reorganizational meeting. I will be providing a report to the board, and we'll turnkey that to the community. After that, our next meeting after that will be in August, and but we will make some communications either through memos or through videos to you to make sure that you're kept informed about the plans as they develop. With that, we just closed out our COVID-19 thought exchange. So thank you to everyone that participated. We did one for students, or excuse me, one for families and one for staff, and we got a lot of great information. There was crossover between the two. But if you've never done a thought exchange before, what it entails is you jump on, you share a thought. This was in regards to what we need to address to open in the fall under the circumstances, and then people can rate those thoughts. So we will be, well, first of all, we've fed that into our planning structures, specifically the emergency management team, along with our leadership team and our district office administration, to apply that to the conversations we're having. And we will turnkey more of that information to the community very soon. In West Irondequoit, we are committed to being an anti-racist organization. So in light of the trauma and the events that are happening in the community and nationally, we did organize some listening circles recently around racism in America, and you can see that we had different opportunities for students and families. There will be more of those, and we will make that a common practice here in the district, because we do recognize and have recognized the need to listen and the need to offer more opportunities to specifically listen to our families around becoming anti-racist. So some of the common themes across the venues you can see in the screen in blue. We do recognize the need for making sure that we have an inclusive curriculum. We've been working on that, but we still have much more work to do. Our staff needs to reflect the diversity of our students. We need to continue, as I said, to listen and to provide opportunities to listen, and specifically to those folks that are either directly affected or closest to the issue, and then making sure that we're doing some planning of strategic action steps, being very transparent about the work so that people understand what's going on and where we're headed and what the objectives are, and then holding ourselves accountable for getting there. And then lastly, we've started some work to make sure that we are developing our staff to be culturally responsive and to make sure that they are reflective of an anti-racist organization. So we will continue that work moving forward.